November is National Adoption Month, and a mother is sharing her inspirational story.
Yes, joining us this morning is Leah Rachel, a professor at the University of Missouri, St. Louis, who wrote a book seeking forgiveness about her journey as a parent. Leah, good morning. How are you?
Great. Good morning. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks for being here. Can you tell us a little bit about the book and, of course, your personal choice to adopt and how that inspired the story?
Yeah, so the book is a semi-autobiographical narrative memoir about interracial adoption. The idea is it's fiction and nonfiction. It has a lot of stories of my life and adopting my son, but I have some fictional elements to protect his privacy and his birth story, which is really his story to tell. But it's about motherhood and adoption and interracial relations, and I think anybody who is thinking about becoming a parent or is a parent will really enjoy this perspective of family relationships in an interracial family.
Yeah, it is a beautiful story. And Leah, what are some of the struggles you've encountered as an adoptive mother, if any? Tell us about them.
Well, I think one of the hardest things is that a lot of people seem to instinctively not see adoptive parents as sort of permanent, as natural birth parents. So multiple times repeatedly over the years, and sometimes even in front of my son, which is very worrisome, people have questioned whether he's with us, from doctors to stewardesses to even neighbors. And it's disorienting. You see yourself as a permanent family and with bonds as strong as anybody else. But sometimes other people don't see you that way, especially if it's an interracial family. There's some confusion and questions, which is part of the reason I wrote the book, to talk about some of these things.
And what were some of those challenges that you and your family have faced?
Well, one story I like to tell is when my son was 5 years old and we took him to the dentist for the first time. We walked in and the receptionist sort of looked at us funny and went away and came back. And then when she finally opened the little glass partition, she said, "I need your papers." And I said, "Insurance cards?" I gave her insurance cards. She goes, "No, I need your papers. We can't treat the boy until we have approval from his parent." And I was like, "I'm his parent. But who brings adoption papers to the dentist office?" I didn't bring them. So we had to leave. And my son in the car afterwards asked me, he said, "Mom, did we have to leave because I'm Black?" And I said to him, no, baby, we had to leave because Mommy's white. And incidents like that have happened, and I've struggled to make sure my son doesn't blame himself for some of these things we run into.
And how do you guys cope with that as a family? What's your message to your son when you encounter situations like that?
Just to love him as much as I can. So I think, the book is actually a hopeful book. I've written other books that haven't always ended so well. This one really talks about the bond, the mother-son bond, and how it can, the love and familial love can get you through just about anything. And so, this book, it does end on a hopeful note. It shows many of these struggles and things we go through, but it talks about if you really love your family and you talk through everything, you can get through many of these trials that happen.
And do you find a special bond with other adoptive parents?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's interesting. I have a good friend that I grew up with. She called me just a few weeks ago, sort of upset because she only found out, like in her late 40s, that she apparently was a mistake and her mother was thinking of aborting her. And I think one of the nice things about that adopted children get is they know they were chosen. I mean, you were wanted if you were adopted. Yeah. So that is a special bond, at least, that they have. And then I think, other adoptive families can relate to. We have other issues, but, one positive thing is that a child was definitely chosen and wanted.
Amen to that. Leah, do you have any words for people who are considering adoption right now?
Well, it is National Adoption Awareness Month, so there's probably a lot of literature out there. I enjoyed the process and was successful with it. I do want to say, though, that I think I'm very non-judgmental on how people decide to or not to become parents. If you want to do it through natural birth, if you want to adopt, do it through the foster system like we did. However your journey goes, it's all wonderful and it's all your own personal journey, and I commend anything anyone does.
Yeah, it's a beautiful way to give back to humanity and find that love and that special connection. To adopt. My aunt did it with my two cousins, so I understand a little bit about it. But Leah, thank you so much for your words and your story.
Thank you so much for having me on and talking about my book, Seeking Forgiveness.
Yes, we appreciate you this morning. Leah, Rachel, thank you for sharing your story.